Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Hello everyone and welcome to Ask Rob and Rob, the show where you get your great, wonderful, superb property questions in and we do a half-decent job at answering it. It seems that after all these episodes you're happy with that format and we're pretty happy too. So let's remind you of how you can get your question in and get on the show.
Yeah, it's just so easy. All you need to do is, first of all, have a question, and then secondly, call 013 808 0035 or go to propertyhub.net/ask, leave us a voicemail via any of those methods, and you will be on the show, just like this.
Hello, Rob and Rob. My name's Helen. I live in Pembrokeshire, 2 rentals in Pembrokeshire and 1 up in the Midlands. All my rental properties have mortgages. They're all fixed rate mortgages due to expire about 2024, 2026. Very conscious of mortgage rates going up. So my question is, what can I do to prepare myself for my mortgage fixed rates coming to an end? Thank you. Really love the content. You changed my life. Bye.
Helen, great question. Thank you so much. There's going to be so many people thinking about this right now because it's in the news, right? And even your favourite podcasters have covered this subject recently. In episode 493, we covered inflation and interest rates and what will happen next. And actually, that's your first port of call for me, is educating yourself on where the market's at and where it potentially could go to in the future. Now, none of us have crystal balls. So Rob and I have a viewpoint. You may have a viewpoint after you've educated yourself, but it doesn't mean that's exactly what's going to happen. But it will give you confidence. It will make you feel a little less nervous by understanding exactly what potentially could play out over the coming years. Now, the great thing is you have time on your side. And the fact that you're looking at this already gives me a lot of confidence that you're going to be in a decent place. So let's talk through some of the other things you can be doing to get yourself prepared. The first is to look at your portfolio and stress test it and do calculations to see at interest rates today and then possibly interest rates a little bit higher, how your portfolio will do. Look at each property individually. At interest rates today, are they still all profitable? At interest rates are possibly a little higher amount, are they still profitable then? If the answer is yes, then that might be all you need to do for now. If you want to do this, you can go online. There are plenty of online mortgage calculator tools. Or if you've got a good relationship with your mortgage broker and you want a helping hand, I'm sure they can take you through that process as well. Now, if you find that one or more of your properties end up being very close to the wire or maybe even losing money every month, then you have some decisions to make. You can look to now put a surplus aside to help with those payments later on. You could look at paying down your mortgage over the next couple of years as that date approaches. So using the profits that you have currently to bring that mortgage amount down and then hopefully get in a position where you can move back into a profitable place. Or, and I don't say this one lightly, so this is for me the final option, the last resort, if one or more of your properties are clearly going to be making a loss each and every month, it's not even close, then possibly look at selling that property now, long before you get to that point. I would imagine if you've owned these properties for a few years, you're not going to be in that position, but you never know. You might just have one bad egg in that portfolio where it needs to be addressed. So maybe now's a good time to address it. So you have lots of different options, but as I've said already, the fact you're looking at this now gives me great confidence that you'll be in a great place when you have to take action. So hopefully, Helen, you found that useful, and anybody else who's in this position or coming up to this position in the future, I'm sure you found that useful as well. Right, Rob, on to our next question.
Okay, let's see what we can do for Dan.
Hi, Rob and Rob. My name's Dan. First off, thank you very much for the excellent resources. Really appreciate it. Well, enough blown smoke, down to the question. So I've had a thought. My sister is looking to rent a property. And here's me thinking, well, actually, I want to actually start renting properties. Why don't I buy a property, rent it to her? Then she has access to an excellent landlord. Obviously, I'm biased. I don't have to worry about having a poor tenant. She pays me rent per month. I don't have to worry about locking up her cash for a deposit. So she's happy. I'm happy. Everybody's happy. Feels like it's win-win-win. Or have I overlooked something massively stupid here? Really appreciate your thoughts. And if what I'm doing sounds like the ravings of a lunatic, or you think actually probably could be a sensible idea, really appreciate it. Thanks very much. Bye.
Dan, you are both a capitalist and a caring sibling, which is wonderful. But I will warn you about a couple of things related to this idea. The first is that lots of mortgage lenders don't like it. Many mortgage lenders will not allow you to have buy-to-let mortgages and rent to family members. There is a reason. I forget off the top of my head what that reason is, but I do know that as well as conditions of many buy-to-let mortgages being that you're not allowed to live in the property yourself, commonly another one is it can't be for a family member. So if you are going to be using a mortgage, then speak to a broker if you're going to go ahead with this plan, because it might just be a straight no, there's nothing in the market, or there might only be specific lenders or products that you can look at. The second thing is advice less around finances and more around family harmony. I'm always super nervous when people talk about working with friends and family, just because if something goes wrong with your business or your investments, that's not great. But when something goes wrong and it affects your relationships as well, that's so much worse. So I'm not saying this is likely, but just say that the situation arises where your sister isn't able to pay the rent for some reason, or she falls behind. How would you navigate that? That would be super awkward. And there could be the opposite situation where for some reason, for investment reasons, you want to sell the property, but she's living there and you feel bad about doing that. The great thing about not renting to family is you can be a bit more hard-headed about these things. You don't need to be mean or aggressive, but you can just be a bit more businesslike and not have quite the same considerations. So of those 2 points, the mortgage point is one you should absolutely check out first as an initial filter. If it's still a goer, then do think carefully about what might happen if it goes wrong. Because if it goes right, it's lovely. Everyone wins. If it goes wrong, how would you deal with that? Could you deal with that? Only you will know because you know what your relationship is like. But those are the things I'd be thinking about, Dan. Whatever you decide to do, good luck with it.
So thank you for your questions and thank you for listening. We'll be back on Thursday with the Property Podcast and, of course, back next week with Ask Rob and Rob. So until then, take care, have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.